adjusted how I'm sitting, so, or laying, I should say. Hopefully the audio is not worse for it. But here's what we're playing for. Top 3 to advance. Hopefully we win and you can see that it's bugged and shows you the wrong reward. But we got to get top 3 to do that. Not interested in Sapphire. Totally interested in Harpolia. These other two are quite poor. Harpolia is quite good though. And a good third place captain. A good sort of, it's not relevant super early necessarily, but an ability that's relevant early enough and then scales enough into the mid to late game. It might peter off a bit at like absolute end game, but by then you've hopefully either built an insane engine or just won the game already. So for top 3, I don't mind Harpolia. And I don't mind this list either. It's kind of a standard list with the additions of Mechanical Dragon and Burninator, which I know a lot of standard lists have Burninator nowadays anyway. I don't play it as much, but Glider and Mechanical Dragon, and to a lesser extent Combustible Dragon, are kind of the differences. But other than that, the cuts are Ace, which I'm okay with for top 3. If I was playing for top 4, I would probably want Ace just in case. And then no Pisces, so you really have to be cognizant of that if you're working towards Tinkerer, that you really need Dust or, lots of other Fey buffs. But yeah, happy enough with that. Here, I'm actually gonna have this in a snip just for my own reference. Stepmother, totally acceptable start. Peachy Queen, also solid. And our lobby is... I still do not recognize names. That is a good sign. We got Chuck E round 1. That's kind of scary. Hopefully they didn't find one of the summoner toys. Loxley, that's very scary. Toucan, not really sure what to expect from them. Headmaster, love to see that. It's a very weak captain. And Romeo is also a little scary. Very spiky hero. Captain, I should say. So we have to beat out, one of these kind of spiky captains to get into the top 3. Assuming the poor captains have bad games, which is far from guaranteed, but dang, they did hit one of their summoners. Unfortunate round 1 pairing, but it's kind of an unfortunate pairing against Chucky up until like turn 5 or 6, so it's... If they're in your lobby, you're probably going to get paired against them at an inconvenient time. I don't like using my Pizza Queen buffs on the supports because the supports go away. But after losing that fight, I would like to heal up if possible, and a 1-4 picks is a great way to do that. Not great options for 2-2. I suppose it's just Puss in Boots in 1? Like, +1 is not enough to the Laser Shark to make it worth it, I don't think. And I don't plan on playing, a bunch of animals for Hamstar. And with the Pix buff, the difference between 1 and 2 toughness is pretty negligible, so let's just go ahead and get a slot buff or two out of the Puss in Boots while we can. We will tie, thanks to the Flying Monkey. And this is just slam dunk Missaria. Would have been a little nicer if we had healed up right there, but still just one of the best cards on the captain. Still have plenty of health for it, especially if you find PSL immediately thereafter. Silver Peachy, which is nice because we had to kind of waste our first buff on the picks. Do not want to waste the second buff on Katamari. I think we're just going to Dragonling. This is why we took the Puss in Boots here. This 2 extra attack is going to make a huge difference for making this Dragonling into a real unit. You can also do it like this. Keep the Puss in Boots around. 1 less toughness than the Peachy Queen, but has an ability. It is an animal. Right. Jack Frost, always a little scary in the early game, but we hit some good break points. And kind of the perfect result to lose half a heart. To get the Constellation Prize right away, so we can free up this slot. And then we can heal right back up with Navi. We've made no progress on our Stepmother, which is a little awkward. But it's also not urgent to get that treasure, because if you can time it out to get it in the same turn as, say, 2 Constellation Prizes and the Dragonling trigger, then you get +4 out of it. So it's not something I was in the rush to do in the first place. But it is something to be aware of. But I am just going to Huntsman here. It's massive. Pix is like perfect to go with it. I actually think it's more important than this Dragonling now. And we sort of have our game plan going forward. I'll mark health after another couple fights. That is a massive Plunder Penny, my god. Full-hearted. Tough breakpoint. Silver Chaos to cast a bunch of spells with this stuff. That's what I get for saying Headmaster was the weakest captain in the lobby. But okay. Constellation Prize. We have like no slot buffs besides 1. The Navi used up our Peachy Queen buff, which is like... was obviously worth it at the time, but now is unfortunate to get full-hearted, but cannot expect Wizard Headmaster to have like a crazy board on turn 4. Not that I think that anything we did could have made a difference in that fight anyway, but you know what I mean. So I think I am gonna Katamari here to make some progress on this Stepmother. Ooh. Interesting. They both have Treasure Hoard 1. Glider's slightly bigger. I think it's 6/6 and 2/2. Glider theoretically gets a couple treasures over the next... it gets, you know, up to 3 treasures over the next few turns. Whereas Mechanical Dragon is just 1 a turn, but it's practically guaranteed. Huh. I kind of want to give up on the Stepmother. And if that's what I'm giving up, then I think the glider goes down in value. I mean, 7.5 is like pretty weak. But is it that much weaker than 9.9? Potentially 10.10 if it attacks. Although I can't put it in either of the first two slots. Huh. Getting full-hearted there really limits our options. Because if I had been half-hearted there, I think I'd just play like glider over Katamari, tank the hit, and play on from there. But now I'm thinking of taking a much more conservative line of Mechanical Dragon over Stepmother. I could split the difference with the Mech Dragon over Katamari. I really don't think I can glider because, like, this has a small chance to be solved next turn, and these two basically have no chance to be solved next turn. Yeah, let's take the middle option. Go with Mech Dragon over the 9.9. Let me mark health. Romeo is at 1. But that's kind of what Romeo does, right? Their hero power is very spiky and not inconsistent, but like late blooming. So hopefully they have not bloomed. Chucky at 3 is not surprising. Very good early game captain that falls off. Toucan is full. That's a little scary. Headmaster has 2, but an incredible board that is scaling extremely well. So we are probably not beating that board. We just have to survive a couple of these other people. And then Loxley has 2 as well. Alright. Good, they have not spiked. Yeah, again, getting full-hearted last turn is so brutal because we would have healed up here. But it's okay, we won the fight, we got our claw. I want to Boon Willow or Silver. I don't think I need to Smee for a villain. I'd rather just look for a better villain by re-rolling with the Missaria. But 1-4 to 4-4 is not a huge difference. It might matter for the Huntsman, doesn't really matter for the Dragonling. I think we just re-roll. Now there's a villain. Also a goodie bag. But I think I'd rather combustible. I think we give up the picks. It's a little scary because Huntsman might fail now. But if that's the case, we can just replace Huntsman next turn. But hopefully we just get a villain right here in this next shop and feel a lot better about ourselves. And we do indeed. It's a pretty big hit, not gonna lie. No other pirates, so it's gonna be Davy. No other pirates and no real confidence that I can hunt. It's like a drum line. I don't know if the mic's picking that up. Something very loud happening outside. Relic is not really an option. So we're looking at the 2 spell treasures. And I think we're just so much more likely to be casting economy spells than pump spells. Then I'm going to take the Wand of Shielding. You could take the scrolls just like hoping that you can scramble enough pump spells together to get the Huntsman through. but I think that is kind of, putting good money chasing after bad. So let's go ahead and wand. And then do I want to do something like this? I guess it would be this, because I want this Davy Jones pump to happen. Combustible Dragon is pretty good against toys, but I think this is fine. I'm not too worried about Huntsman hunting against Chucky, but if it somehow doesn't hunt this turn, then like they hit the 1 and 6 or whatever, then we could be in trouble because it goes Loxley, Toucan, Headmaster after this, and those could be more problematic. So pretty big hunt here. Let's see if we can pull it off. We do indeed. We're going to lose a half a heart. No, we tie. I actually think I would have preferred to lose a half a heart there, but totally fine with that as well. And then, yeah, this is a big turn, hopefully. Terrible options. I'm actually going to take the spinach. You do not see late game spinach much, but my board's a little dorky. I want things that can hunt for the Huntsman's axe. Relic is just like slow and awkward, and Acorn is both does nothing for my board and nothing for our captain, and we have axe, which means we do not want supports taking up these back slots anyway. We want hunters. So by process of elimination, we're gonna spinach. Then yeah, I am gonna take the whale. You could re-roll. Like there's a lot of better hits, right? Like Angelica is kind of the first one that we would want after picking up axe. But the whale's just so huge. Plus, if you golden it, it does give you treasures as well, which is good for our captain ability. Iron Cast is pretty ideal, though. It is not a hunt character, which is kind of the first thing on our shopping list. But it is good with our captain, good with the combustible, good with our wand. Yep, happy for that. Alright, we lost the player. Luna Girl, kind of as expected from what we saw. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not Luna, it's Romeo. Luna was last game. Romeo did not go off. So let me see, we got Loxley still on 2. Chucky still on 3. Headmaster still on 2. And Toucan down to 2. So since we last checked, they had 3 of 3 hearts last time I wrote them down. Now they have 2 of 4. So that is kind of interesting. Unsure what to make of it as of now, but we will worry about that when we see them next round. Alright. Okay, decent board, but oh my god. They have a bottle. Thank God we full-hearted them. Yeah, Loxley with a bottle is terrifying. What do we need in this? Top 3? Next screen will show us. Yeah, top 3 to advance. Man, I hope that Loxley dies before that bottle gets rolling. Alright, on to our 8th turn of the game. Kind of an interesting shop. Don't really want to cast this spell, but it would complete shipshape if I put this here. Think I'm just supposed to goose, though. Could also Sunflary because we have no hunters. The problem with taking Sunflary is, like, if I draw a hunter next shop, I just replace it right away. Whereas Bronze Goose I could play on board over Davy or Mechanical. Like, if this was a targeted spell, I would just use it on the Ironcast Dragon, I think. Because even though the shop options aren't terrible, but they don't get us anywhere. Which is why I think I'm leaning towards Bronze Goose. Just because it gives us some sort of forward momentum towards an epic treasure. Losing this last spinach thing is annoying. Not that it makes a huge difference, but, like, would be cool if they gave us an Angelica or something. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Tough play. Sound off if you're watching this. What would you do? I think I'm going to Bronze Goose over Mechanical Dragon. This was my first instinct, and I have not come up with a convincing argument for anything else in the meantime. So we're going to go with that. We get an interesting second shop. We can put the Mechanical Dragon back on board, now with almost twice as many stats. We can Maverick and Icewing. The problem being we don't have ways to get treasures, and we're about to enter legendary shops where we're presumably going to be wanting to play characters and not, like, more pump spells or more targeted spells to get treasures, which is, like, our only way to get treasures right now. I think I am just going to replace the goose with the mechanical and re-roll. Blackjack, Greenbeard, Achilles. I mean, Achilles is pretty sick with the axe if we have confidence we can hunt. Which I have confidence we can hunt against Chucky and that Loxley board we just saw, but not the toucan we're about to see, and definitely not against the headmaster we're going to see the round after. It's actually quite important to only take half a heart here if the toucan is strong, so that the headmaster, if they scaled like they looked like they were going to, that we don't get full-hearted killed. You know, full-hearted the next 2 fights would be pretty devastating. Could Blackjack and just be a Dragon Boy? But I think we can Achilles. I'm happy leaving these 3 on board, so pumping them is worthwhile. Yeah. Not like ecstatic by any means, but I do think it is our best play. So Toucan got full-hearted there, presumably by the Headmaster. Loxley's down to 1. Ooh, Chucky got half-hearted. And Headmaster, unsurprisingly, still on 2. So hopefully they're really weak and we just kill them, and Headmaster kills Loxley, and we can be done here. Because this mid-game was a little clunky. But let's see. Do I want... It's 3 bigger. Guess I would line it up like this. It also lets me add a treasure to the treasure hoard of this, which is extremely marginal, but something. And lets this, which is probably my best late game card, to get 2 pumps. Yeah, alright, I like this. Let's see how it goes. Okay, very beatable board. Sucks they attacked first, but... And we didn't get that second hunt. But we are going to draw, which is fine. Glider came back, but there's also a Mixo, and we are about to face Headmaster. Interesting. So they presumably have a massive fairy animal thing, the 4/4 uncommon, familiar, which I would assume is in slot 2, but could be in 1 or 3. The Sunflower Glider is like appealing aesthetically, maybe just because it has a signature on it, but we don't actually have any ways to like what do you call it? Discover treasures. So I think I am going to Mixo. And I think I am going to do it on the Iron Cast. Even though I want to do it on the Combustible, I am going to go Iron Cast. Get this treasure out of it. Breadcrumbs is a great one to hit. There's our Angelica. I am going to go Iron Cast in 2. I think that's the most likely place for the Familiar to be. But it could easily be wrong. Or we could end up missing. I shouldn't say wrong, because I do think this is the correct position for it. And I think I am going to Angelica. Do I give up on Achilles or Mechanical Dragon? I think I'm going to go with Mechanical. This is 46, this is 43. Alright, so Chucky got hit down to 2. Toucan survived at 1. Loxley did die. The Headmaster is still at 2. Alright. Come on, Mixo. Wow, they sold their familiar. Alright, so we got some stats, but more importantly, they are not scaled at all like I thought they were going to be. Only half hard us, and we get constellation prizes and a bigger iron cast and Angelica hunts. And we hit combustible off of the Angelica. Glorious. This pack is less glorious. We don't have any of the sort of engine-y cards. Treasures. It's basically just axe and stats. But we do have breadcrumbs, which gives two-headed wizard sort of a safety net. Escape valve. Release valve, whatever you call it. Escape hatch. Like, Rainbow is cute when you're, like, doing hunting and Angelica stuff. But I don't know, we're playing against, like, Chucky and Toucan. Ooh, more phone alarms. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with the wizard. And we get a Trogdor. And then we're basically just priced into using double Lost in the Woods next turn. Alright, so Chucky got half-hearted again. Headmaster beat us, and Toucan is still at 1. Hopefully Headmaster just knocks Toucan out here. I want to order them like this. Okay, they do not have Apple. They do not have any of the scary things. Which is good. We thought they were weak because they were getting beaten the last, like, 4 fights. But, obviously, like, they could have just lost 3 fights and then gotten a poison apple. And then their board is, like, very strong. So I'm glad that is not the case. We heal up and knock them down to 1. And got many hunts. Kraken would be fine here, but I am just going to go with the Time Walk. Butcher right on time. Happy enough with Shadowmancer. We have the breadcrumbs. And this Achilles is no longer keeping pace. 3 bags full is kind of appealing too with our Hero Power and Burninator, but I think a Giant Hunter is going to serve us a little bit better. So I'm missing slots 3 and 5. This is only 2-2, so I'm going to go ahead use the new improved Blessing of Athena there. Cutlass. Okay. And then Fires of Ares with no real appealing options. So, yeah. Secret Map is kind of the one that we wanted. Like Mimic and I guess Top would also be fine. Well, Top maybe we're too late for that, but it's literally the secret map turn, so that is what I was chanting inside my head. I'm fine lining up like this against Toucan. I think the Shadowmancer might want to come to the front row against Headmaster, but we will see. Hercules Toucan. The Angelica dying there, I think we don't get that hunt, which is very annoying. I do believe that's how it works. But we do kill Toucan. And yeah, this doesn't look like Angelica hunted. That is very unfortunate. The timing rules on that are very unintuitive for Magic players, I will say. But our secret map turned into a sort of shadow and light, which is totally fine with our two biggest creatures being villains. Also, our thing that we want to be proccing Axon also being a villain, because this does work for that as well. So I do feel quite confident now. And with Toucan and Loxley dead, I think we're in the top 3, right? There were only 4 of us, so we're safe now. But I am going to keep playing and try and win. Wormscale. See, like, we don't have Pisces in our deck, so, like, these spots are like, yeah, Wormscale's good, but without Dust, is it really outperforming, like, Burninator? I don't know. Maybe. Probably, you know, if there wasn't a better option here. But I think we're also passing a Peter Pan. I don't know. Let me check one more time. 7 anthems, a wand, a slot buff, and this thing, which will hopefully proc many, many times. Yeah, I don't hate it. You can also play it over Ironcast. It's definitely gonna play over Ironcast instead of Burninator. I guess this is better. But I do think that's close. And then we get a pack with absolutely nothing. Do want to hunt with the villain. So we can play Kraken over Burninator in this back slot and hope to just go absolutely ham with the Sword of Light and Shadow. Sure. Yes, we are indeed in top 3. And I am indeed going to play Shadowmancer in front against Headmaster, because they had a slightly bigger board. But yeah, this is still very tame compared to what how strong their start was. Alright, so now that we have that locked up, we can play a little faster. Gwenny, don't mind if I do. I don't have like Web or Acorn or anything. Guess we just do that. Burninator is back. I don't think I need it. Conan. Also not particularly appealing. We can just do this. This is like a very weak turn, but I don't think it matters. yeah, the Chucky did die. And our board is much better than this Headmaster board. So, should be looking at a first. It was a little sketchy there after we got full-hearted in the early game. We had a couple of real interesting decisions that I apologize for how long I took on those. But it all worked out in the end. Large Guinevere. All right. It looks like their game ended like many turns ago. So I don't think their board has changed. All right. Round 3 done. Oh, they fixed it. This was bugged. This like winter screen just showed you like the normal Artemis or like the alt skin Artemis, but not this one with the signature. But it looks like they did fix it. Very cool. All right. Round 4 up next.